Mindful millionaires. I'm so excited to have this conversation. Vicki Howie's going to be coming and talking to us about more advanced strategies around the chakras in a few weeks. And we decided that we wanted to create this more introductory video around the chakras so that you had a more solid understanding of what they are, how they work in your life. And thank you, Vicki, so much for doing this and also for coming and being a guest speaker.
It's so much fun, Lisa. You know, this is like my favorite thing in the world. And then add you into it. And then it's my most favorite thing in the world. So
well, it's so fun because, you know, like you were saying before, we met through the synchronicity of Sedona and found each other at the exactly divine, perfect time. And I'm learning so much from you. You've been such a great mentor. I'm so excited that you're interested in this work because I think through it, we both grow and expand and see different perspectives, but all roads lead back to chakras and how we can use them to create a more like enjoyable, abundant, joyful life. And this is just great. So what I'd love to do is we're going to dive right in and talk about, we're going to go from the root chakra to the crown chakra, but I also wanted to mention the fact that there has been a tendency to think of like going upwards and that's better. And what you've really shown me and helped me deepen understanding around is the fact that each person is going to enter wherever they are ready to enter, wherever they need to. Some people are more focused on this upper naturally. Some people are more focused on the lower chakras naturally. And the point is how can we become more integrated and whole in using the chakras to understand ourselves better? So why don't we just dive in and start talking about, where do you think is best to start?
Well, always at the root, right? So we will start at the root, but I do want to comment on what you said because what you said is so true. And each person now more than ever though, Lisa, because we've moved into a feminine era, we were in a masculine era for 5,000, some people would say a larger era of 25,000 years, where we were gravity bound, trying to go up. Like we needed that freedom. We needed to go back to the divine and up. But we're actually right now in a more tantric era where many of us are needing to bring heaven onto earth and spirituality into our body. So I like to say that embodiment is the new enlightenment. And so there are, what we will be talking about later are 3 different chakra abundance types. But today we're just going to talk about the 7 chakras in this new paradigm way of looking at them, where they each have a relationship to the other. And we don't think the top ones are the good ones, like there's anywhere we have to get to. It's just like 7 rooms or 7 stories in our beautiful high-rise building. Okay. And we're just going to, each one is good. And I understand that the top ones have the view, but the lower ones are cool in the summer, right? So we're going to find the value of each one. And we're going to start at the root. So as many people know, but if you don't, I'm going to be very basic. We have 7 chakras in perhaps the most, or what I will say is the most popular model. There are other models of chakras with more or less. One of the older models was 5, actually, a tantric model. Popular now is 7, and I love 7, and I believe it's very real for us as a culture because we love the number 7 across all countries. It's like the lucky number, and I think it's because we resonate with the fact that our life is based on the energy of 7, of these main energy centers. So the first one, think of them, they are literally a rainbow. So literally the exact same colors of the rainbow, and a rainbow is created when you take white light. Sir Isaac Newton showed you take white light and you put it through a prism, because a prism represents 3D reality. It's a 3D object. You put it through a prism and you get a rainbow. And you take that rainbow, Lisa, and you put it back through the prism and you get white light. And I feel like this is our experience. We're like spirit coming into a 3D reality. So we're white light. We come in, we spread out into this rainbow so that we can make sense of these different parts of ourselves in the 3D world. And then when we pass and move back, we're still alive. We go right back to that white light, that wholeness, right? So here we're whole, but sometimes we don't feel like it. So the chakras are the map for us to look at that. So the first one I'm going to use, I have these tattoos and I'm going to use them because I want people to actually visually see what each Sanskrit symbol is. The first one is the root chakra. It is masculine. People get confused because it represents earth and they think Mother Earth is feminine. So why is it masculine? It's masculine because it represents downward. The yogis call it apana energy. It is the gravity. It's what helps us sleep. It's what helps us feel safe. It's the roots of the tree that grow down, that allow the tree to grow taller. It's the foundation of a building. It's our own foundation. Like as we're growing up, the first 7 years of our life, we are completely creating our foundation. And many religions actually agree on that. And many psychologists agree on that. If you can show them a 7 or 8 year old, you're going to show them the adult, right? Well, we're more changeable now, but for 7 years, we're working on the root. And the root is red. It represents the earth element, the downward energy, and it's also related to all the very material things in life, like, because it's the densest, most manifest part of our energy field. So it gets a lot of flack. So this is where money is and the finances, right? All finances and money, career, health of your body, overall health. Specific health is in different areas of your body, but your overall vitality and robustness is in the root chakra, okay? And this is the first of the masculine chakras. And when I talk about masculine and feminine, I'm actually talking about embodiment. There's other ways to look at masculine and feminine when you're just looking at energy. But when we have 6 chakras that are in the body and 1 that resides up here, the crown, actually off the body. That one we're going to it's a unified field. It's all about our God energy, our universal energy, our connection to everything. So we're going to put that aside for a second as a separate thing. And the other 6 literally pulsate with masculine and feminine energy. And of course, we start when we're born with the root energy because we come from our roots and our ancestors. We go to our family. We need to feel safe and secure and grounded and home. Root chakra also represents home. So let's see, is there anything else that you know that I haven't talked about the quality of the root chakra?
It feels pretty complete.
Okay, so we're going to go on and you're going to notice something. Really listen carefully, you guys, because this is awesome. The chakras, because the lower chakras are the most embodied and the highest ones are the closest, they're part of spirit, right? So literally as we're moving up, we're going from density, less dense, less dense, less dense, less dense, and we keep moving up. So because the 3D world is all about opposites, as we get all the way down to the lowest chakras, they are literally opposite because they're pulsating with masculine and feminine energy. So for instance, men will often live primarily out of the root as their base. And women will often live, okay, and there's lots of, this is a generalization, guys, but this is a helpful generalization. So I am aware that I'm generalizing for the purpose of getting you to understand this. Women have a tendency to live out of the sacral. The sacral is water, whereas the root is earth. The earth is about consistency and organization, where this is about inconsistency and chaos, disorganization. This one is about safety, and this one is about change. Like this one wants it the same all the time. This one's about routine, right? And this one's about breaking out of routine. And this one's about organization. Root is about organization. It's the part of you that plans ahead and gets it done. All the earth signs and astrology like to do that. This one doesn't like to plan. This one's like, let's wing it. Let's go for a trip. So this is the water and the other one's the earth. So you have water and earth, right? And the water can literally move through the earth or around a rock because often rocks will represent the root chakra. So right there, guys, just think about even in a relationship, men and women, and how it can be difficult sometimes because a man will say, get to the point. Just like simplify, just say what you mean. And a woman will be like, I just want you to understand me, like, because this is also the emotional chakra, right? And she'll want to weave like water and go over here and then over there. And a man might, the biggest insult to a woman might be, you're crazy, you're just crazy, because this is the emotional up and down storm. And a woman might say, you're a couch potato. And this is the unmoving, rooted energy that doesn't move and doesn't like to move. So we all have all of it, but I want you to see how hormonally we're set up, especially in the 2 lowest chakras, to have a little more of one, depending on how much we are in our gender, how hormonally. Some of us are designed a little differently to not be so much in our gender that way. So those are the 2 basic ones. You get the feeling of how different they are, the divine feminine versus the rooted earth. Then we go to the third chakra. We go back to masculine again. You guys, this is why it's just amazing any of us are sane, because we're literally pulsating back and forth with these beautiful energies. This is your next highest masculine energy, and it's the warrior fighter. It's the solar plexus chakra. And by the way, I have a tendency to do this, you guys, because I know this very well. This one resides pretty literally in your tailbone and goes down and governs your legs and just right into the earth. So everything in your legs and feet. And the sacral one is going to represent your pelvic bowl, your hips, you know, the whole womb of the feminine. Even for you men, you have an energetic womb where you create things. And then this one is going to be smack dab in your solar plexus. Like someone reaches out to smack you, where are you gonna contract? Okay. And actually it's contractive. This one actually opens. To open solar plexus energy is to contract physically. So sometimes the masculine chakras, actually, I'll just be clear, the masculine chakras that I'm going to point out, those ones actually contract physically when they're opening energetically. I think it's something to keep in mind, because we tend to think that, oh, I'm opening my chakras. And that's true for the feminine, but not for the masculine. We have to become warriors when we want to open the masculine chakras in an embodied way. I'll talk about that. So this solar plexus chakra is the fire element. So far we've had earth, then water, now we're at fire. And this is very related to the root. They like to work together. The masculine chakras work together. The feminine chakras really like to work together. And this is your can-do. So when you have your to-do list and what you need to get done and what you might be afraid of, but you need a little courage, this is the one that's going to give you motivation, courage, energy. It's going to help you digest all your foods. This is the one that's going to give you also mental clarity. People don't understand this. We're now finding, science is finding in your gut, brain cells in your gut. And this is because we say, I feel it in my gut, I want to do it in my gut, because our gut is our decisive mind, not our imaginative mind, but our decisive, I like that, I don't like that, I can make this decision, I can move forward. You feel that energy, it's just a straightforward arrow. That's the third chakra, the solar plexus. The next one is green, and you can see the colors, right? We had red, orange of the rainbow, then we had yellow, now we have green. These two, again, are very opposite. Just as these two, second and third, you can take absolutely any neighbors and you're going to have an opposite type energy. But as we move up, that opposition is going to lessen. Okay. So am I moving too fast, Lisa? Are we with me still? Okay. All right. So the green one is the center of your field. This is why we all relate to love so much. This is why the one and only thing that we can all agree on is peace and love. We're like, okay, when you go to your grave, did you love? Did you really love? And that's because our essence is love. And how do I know this? Not because I just made it up in my head, but because mathematically, this is our midpoint. This is our balance point. That's why I don't think of the cross so much for Christianity, although of course it is there for Christianity, but I think of it as a sign of where the heart is. It's in the middle cross point of our energy field. So if, for instance, Lisa, we were to balance all of our chakras, then we end up in our heart. And I actually love that, because some people that try to just open their heart, they think heart is about nice and certain things. And so they try to be nice and then they lose their solar, but they don't actually balance in their heart. Whereas if you open all your chakras, you're going to end up as love. So that means you do need to have some fire, some go for it, and a little bit of healthy boundary anger and these other things that we tend to put down. And by the way, I didn't do enough with this one too. This is also, I want to say, it is the anger, and it does, along with the root, give you boundaries. This is the one where you can say no very strongly. Just, nope, that's not acceptable. That's not okay with me. And it tends to bring in some root chakra energy with it, you know, to put up the fence. The root's like the fence, and this is like the fire that says, and you're not crossing that fence. Okay? Very important in this day and age, I think. So the heart is what we think it is. It's love, love, love. And we all need love. And it's also compassion and kindness and everything that you think of the ultimate mother. This is the mother energy. It's the second feminine after the sacral. And it also is a lot about forgiveness, which is such a huge healer, because that brings us back to balance, and gratitude. which is also a huge healer because it brings us back to a point of balance. And because this life is a present, the present is a present. And remembering that always brings us back to center field within ourselves. Okay, so the heart chakra. Now we're up into, and by the way, this is the beginning. This is the bridge chakra, we call it. The first three I showed you are called the lower chakras. They are, while all the chakras are energy, the first three are energy that's so dense, it represents our physical world and our physical experience. Whereas the heart is the bridge between the lower and upper worlds, and the fifth, sixth, and seventh chakras up here are all related to our spiritual experiences and our spiritual world. Okay, yet all of it's spirit. I'm just saying this is what they relate to, because this is a map, right, Lisa? That's what we wanted people to be able to use it for. This is a map, guys. You can change anything in your outer world by coming back to where it is in this map that I'm talking. Isn't that cool?
It is cool. I've heard you say the anatomy of the body,
energy anatomy, or the anatomy of the spirit,
yes.
The anatomy of the body being our bones. And you know what you think, Lisa, it was not until recent history that we really had really good anatomical understanding. And I think we are now on the threshold, you and I are on the vanguard of saying, okay, guys, let's learn the anatomy of spirit, because it actually, everything related to spirit has total beauty and organization. And so it isn't random. Spirit isn't random. We tend to think that physical has some organization and spirit's just, you know, airy fairy, I can't grab it. It's very organized, and you can actually use it in a systematic way, your understanding of it.
I would almost say even the scientific understanding of the body is more of this like yang masculine energy, and the chakra system by nature has this more ethereal yin explanation of how things are going together. And we're not denying the anatomy of the body, and we're not denying the anatomy of the spirit. We're saying pay attention to both.
Yes, and they do not contradict. That's the beauty. But what I found in the past was that people think that anatomy has this beautiful, and if they really look at it, like how things are organized in our body, just like if you look at a leaf or anything in nature, it's all very sacred. It has sacred geometry in it. But the same thing is true that we don't know is that the energy is also organized, and it is actually in a systematic way. It's organized. So even though it's so yin, we can grab these yang understandings of this yin thing and finally be able to use it in our physical world to make changes from the inside out and the outside in, because it goes both ways.
Which is kind of how I look at the model that I've created around money, not just having the root chakra apply, but have all 7 apply to our relationship with money. It's like I'm just using this map to give more density to an ethereal concept of not just money from a dollar and cents standpoint, but what is the metaphysical understanding, and how is money really happening in our lives at this more ethereal level? And the chakra map helps me to explain how that works.
I love, love, love that. So why we might need to grab and understand that without this, you can't manifest anything. So even, and just to give you an idea, like in things like The Secret, we're always talking about visioning, right? And it's all, but there's many people that are up here visioning all the time. They have all kinds of energy up here, but they can't quite bring it down to manifest. So it isn't necessarily the right thing for everyone to envision. For some people, they've already got the vision, and it's time to now plant the seeds and make sure the physical apparatus is working. So it's all working together. And I love when you take this idea that's just related to root and you move it up into all the chakras, because this is some super yummy abundance up here in the spiritual realm, especially around material things. And because we tend to think that those are opposite and they can't be together. And of course they can. A rainbow's together. We're all together.
Right. Yeah. I think it's actually a good time before you start to talk about these upper chakras that we just mention something that's in both of our heads that let everybody else in on it, which is there has been a tendency for some people to be very physically motivated to create a lot of money coming from these lower chakras. You're using your root chakra, you're using your power chakra, right? You're using your feelings even to manifest and create. Yeah. The challenge that also can happen or that can happen is when we're super focused on these upper chakras without enough of this manifestation, we can be super spiritual and broke.
Yes, exactly. And that's when we do the Chakra Abundance Types, we'll totally talk about, because there's a super spiritual person who's like, oh, I'm happy and I'm free, but I'm totally broke. And then there's a person, I have lots of money, I'm really secure, but I don't have any freedom, I'm unhappy, I'm tied down. And then there's another type, I'll leave the third type for that discussion. So we have some good juicy stuff to go to, but I could not agree more. And that was a beautiful description of it. So shall we go up to the upper chakras? Okay, so at the fifth chakra, I call it the magic gateway. That's where the magic begins. Believes, I like it, because that's where the magic begins. Because look, even your body, this is called purity. By the way, this is Vishuddha. Okay, sometimes there's a little aqua or just very royal blue. This is Vishuddha, which means purity. Think about it. Touch your neck for a minute, Lisa. Just feel that. Feel how your neck is compared to your shoulders. It's a little narrower. So this is your filter. So from the bottom down, the lower chakras are like, we'll take it all. We'll work with all of it. But by the time you get to your throat, we're like in a place of honor. We're in a place of purity. We're in a place of integrity. Like all our greatest speakers, our JFKs, our MLKs, our Gandhis, these guys were all like, okay, for the collective, they were saying, let's dream of something bigger. And they brought out our integrity. They brought out our desire to work together to see higher visions. That's what the fifth chakra does. It purifies now. Anything that needs to belong in the lower chakra stays down there, and all the best comes up and through you, out of your mouth, out of your expressions, and only that which is true to you individually. So this is the chakra, the blue chakra of the throat. It relates to the thyroid, and because a lot of us have thyroid issues these days, and it's about being your authentic self, and in being only your authentic self, not putting any false image out, not trying to be something else. You literally carve your exact purpose. I'm not saying you find it, you carve it. You are it. If you turn down jobs that don't belong to you, that don't fit you authentically, and you really go after what really fits you authentically, just by the mere nature of that, you're going to carve a more authentic life and a more powerful one, and you're going to step into your life purpose. So this is the highest masculine. We had first chakra, third chakra, fifth chakra, like stones on a pond. When you feel into what masculine energy embodied means, it's that. The root is the protector, the solar plexus is the fighter and the warrior, the knight in shining armor, and the throat is the statesman that inspires us, the king, the leader, the best, okay? So do we need to say anything else about the throat? Okay, this is also where the magic begins, because at spirit, things start to happen outside of the 3D realm. So here's where synchronicities begin, psychic abilities begin, and then they get even stronger. They're all up here, up in the upper chakras. So then we have, I got the smaller version right here. Boop. We have the indigo color of the third eye, and the third eye is the highest feminine. 2, 4, and 6 are the feminine chakras. This is the wise feminine. People often say the crone. I'm not big on the crone. I like to envision like an elder Lakshmi, like the full abundance of being on, I always see this one on a mountain, like having the view from the top, the highest of all embodiment. So when we're caught up in something a lot, we're usually taking the warrior view. When we're in drama, we're coming from our ego and from solar plexus. There's nothing wrong sometimes with coming from there, but we can often get caught in it. And we feel like, it's us and them, other and enemy. And this one doesn't do that. Our chakras weave up the channel, the Sushumna, which is the energy channel of our spine, and they meet right here. And so this is a place of equanimity and balance. It's where we can see what's good for everyone. Okay, it's where our psychic abilities kick in. We can see past time and space, like we're not in the 3D world anymore. And our intuition just is really honed and strong, and it moves through our whole body, and we can just feel things and know things. And it has a strong appreciation for beauty too. And that's why I love, because of all the eyes on the peacock is always the quintessential third eye animal for me, because the third eye, right, is all over it, and it's so beautiful and resplendent. So those are the embodied chakras, and they literally go 1, 3, 5 is masculine, holding, and then the other 3 have the best of the feminine. The second chakra is the creator and seductress, the muse. It's the muse, the watery one that inspires. The heart is the mother energy, the unconditional lover, the one that holds the peace and loves us and makes us feel safe because of that. And then the third eye is the wisest feminine that can just see everyone's perspective and hold this beautiful vision for everyone. And so I think of like a really good female judge, you know, who's really fair and equal, and it's all balanced.
So can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Now, I come at the model a little differently than how you're explaining it, because I'm thinking about it from the root. If we're thinking about the manifestation of money and creation, if we're healing and you know, creating this sense of completeness in each of these areas of our experience with the chakras, by the time we get to the third eye, this is the embodiment of enoughness, like that ownership of both the external and the internal awarenesses. And I'm curious about what comes for you, because I do feel like when you shared that, it integrated in very nicely. But does that make sense? Like this place where when we've got the money, we're a master of this internal experience of knowing who we are, and the external is very comfortable, and we're feeling like we're moving and navigating through the world, being able to create the things that we want physically as well as, you know, relationally, so on and so forth, that brings about this sense of I am enough, and it's coming and radiating from this place. Any thoughts there?
That certainly fits with the idea, even the energetic, the bioenergetic movement of that's our completion point. So it would make sense I'm enough. The Ida and the Pingala are the left and right, the cool and warm channels of our energy that move through our chakras and go up, and they snake upward and sometimes downward when we're doing the manifesting channel. But in general, they snake upwards, and when they come here, they connect. So it gives us a sense of wholeness. This is our wholeness in a body, which would give us a true sense of enough. So I just want to make one distinction. This one is our ego sense of enough. So in our culture, a lot of us grew up in dysfunctional households and two-parent households where they both worked, and we weren't seen, we weren't felt, or we were maybe taught some things where ego-wise we weren't even seen, because this is the one where we're seen, where we see others and we're seen. So we don't feel enough to like be in our physical body power. That's more this. I am enough to go for it, to do it, to climb that mountain. I have confidence. This is that I'm enough. The enough up here is the enough that has just, it's like completion, that sews together, and it's spiritual enoughness. It's like embodied spiritual enoughness, where this one is embodied confidence enoughness. I can do it. You feel the difference there? I just wanted to point out to people those two different ones. So I can completely see why you use it, why you say it in that way, that it's I'm enough. And what happens then is a lot of people put pressure on themselves around intuition and around psychic abilities. And when you do that, it completely shuts them down. So that's why when we have that sense of enoughness and wholeness and vision from the top of the mountain, we don't need to be about our self-interest. We're just one of many. The whole is our interest, all of us, because everyone wins. And when we get there, it's a kind of I am enough that is just so delicious. And it doesn't negate that this one's important too. But this one has just the highest embodied energies of peace and goodness for not only ourselves, but everyone around us.
The thing that I think was a big turning point for me, and you mentioned this psychic awareness or this ability to see beyond, what I noticed was when I was really focused more on these lower, I wasn't open to the possibility of these awarenesses. And so when I come back to I am enough, it is the embodiment of the open receptivity to this synchronicity, to the knowing, even though I don't have a way of knowing, that is included in that. And that's what I was missing out on for so many years.
I really like that. I like that a lot. And I like because it's very hard to make a distinction between where I'm going now, which is a lot of people have a lot of trouble between the distinction of what is the third eye and what is the crown, right? So the crown, let me tell you what I believe the distinction is. The crown is actually the fourth of what would be the masculine chakras. And in an energetic world, we call this the Shiva energy, where the chakras come from. They grew alongside Hinduism, and they borrow a lot, they're from yoga, and this one here is the Atman, the all, it's the all. This one, and we call this Shiva, and then they call everything embodied Shakti. So you only have Shiva and Shakti in yoga. That's all you have, really. What I'm doing is breaking down the Shakti, because if we just talk about the body as being one thing, we can't really play with it and learn about it. But when we realize that this body in this 3D world pulsates masculine and feminine, like everything pulsates in the 3D world, it gives us this great little tool in the 3D world to play with, even the spiritual energies. So this one, to me, represents like our umbilical cord to all that is, to the Shiva energy, it's called the 1,000 lotus, Sarhez Rara, the 1,000 lotus petal, 1,000 petaled lotus. And I knew I could say that. And because it's basically just the flower that blossoms at the top. But what I'm finding now is we're getting kids, we're calling them indigo children. Some people say rainbow children, I think. We're even getting autistic children that have a lot of abilities, both artistic and also spiritual abilities. And I believe that is because some of us now are coming with this already open, and that's why some actually need to ground. Like we're literally now in this heightened energy of the planet. The planet, you can feel it with the internet, with everything. We're much heightened. We're lifting upward. And with that, many of us are needing to do more grounding. You just have to find yourself in this spectrum of where am I? Am I up here a lot in my head and I feel anxious and ungrounded? Or am I way down here in my root and I feel like I'm not free, and right? Or am I somewhere bouncing between the two? And this one here is your higher self. So this is why I'm coming back to your enoughness again, because this one is actually the higher self, which is spirit. So you're connected to the spirit world with this one, but picture it, it's right inside your body. And so it's the first passageway when the crown energy, this is undifferentiated energy. This is, you're lost in this. Your ego's gone. Everything's gone. There's really no masculine or feminine in a 3D sense, but it's masculine in an energetic sense, meaning that Shiva is always all consciousness, and that's considered masculine. So here you are, and it's like, when we have nothing to like or dislike, we're everything. And then we come just inside of that. We draw into a really strong third eye. And when we do that, all of a sudden, I'm going to use you as an example. So all of a sudden, I'm the undifferentiated consciousness, and I come down into Lisa. And now I am actually undifferentiated consciousness that starts to take on the qualities of Lisa. So that's my higher self. It is literally connected to the all, but differentiated from the all just enough to bring your unique personality, for you to share what you're getting from the divine, for you to write from an inspired place, which you'll bring down into your throat usually, and then write or speak, right? But you do it in conjunction with, seventh, and then it comes in, and your higher self goes, ooh, this is what it means. And you even use your personality. You use channels bypass sometimes the personality, but most people, you're actually using your own intuition, your own understandings, and then it comes down into your throat, and then it gets even more authentic, and out it goes as you, as a speaker, as a writer. So that's how the 3 upper chakras work together in a spiritual way.
So when I think about the crown, that's how I discuss abundance, but it's like going from the third eye to the crown is that ability to have this limitless, infinite nature, right? Infinite being, connected. But it's kind of the opposite of how you described it. It's like going from the manifestation of a human body form into that, and that representing the abundance. So it's fun to play with this because that's how the model translates into what, you know, I've used the chakras to do.
I tend to be tantric because I'm what they call an upper chakra dominant gal. And I'm a recovered one, but I was born up here and never really landed. I came into a really unsafe family situation and I never really landed until into my 50s, right? So now I've landed and now I see things kind of that way going down. But of course the traditional is more upward. And so, and both, it's not at all, they're not contradictory whatsoever. It's like saying a pipe goes both directions. Sometimes the water's doing what we call the manifesting current. And the manifesting current goes from the highest, the undifferentiated crown, down, down, down until you create something that's inspired up here, and then you create it all the way down into the physical world. And then the other way, the liberating current, is when you're down in your body and you know how to move the energy up so you can go back to this understanding of how absolutely unlimited and all the potential that you have in a body. You're still in a body, but you're a spirit in a body. So you are connected to that unlimited potential. So that gives you freedom. The other one gives you 3D manifestation, and they're both fun to play with.
Well, I think it's so fun because just like I said when we started this, that we've come into each other's lives at this very pivotal time. And I feel like we're both meeting at the heart chakra, right? That is very clear. Yes. But we both have these different kind of opposite journeys. So it's like, hey, girlfriend, I recognize you, I see you. But we've had very different experiences. And it's super fun because we both can see these different manifestations and play with it.
That is such a great analogy. I just saw us, like, I remember there was this hotel once, right? It has those big bubble elevators, and there was 2 of them side by side, and you would literally go past one as another one, and you would be going sometimes in opposite directions. And it just makes me feel that way exactly with you. Like, I get so excited actually because we're meeting in the middle and we're doing the same thing, but we're representing it all. So I see myself like, hi, Lisa, like over in your bubble as you go up and I go down wherever we have to go, but we're meeting in the heart.
So I also want to mention, I wanted to mention the tattoos, and I actually had a question for you. So you've been using these super cool tattoos to explain everything. And I want to talk about those for just a second. And I had a question for you. So you created these several years ago. You sell them. People come to you. They're called chakra boosters. So the idea is you put them on your body. But like for the crown and for the third eye, you're not like wearing it right there, right? Like where do you put them when they're not going to go on my hair? Yeah.
That is such a great question. And for people who want a little more in depth, I have an FAQ on my website, chakraboosters.com. But it's a real simple answer. You can put them anywhere because we are actually water. So we are 55 to 70% water in general as humans. As we get older, we're less, but we're in that realm of a majority water at all times. And so the symbol being on our body, it actually brings the energy into the body and that circulates around the body. Now, honestly, these last longer when someone has a strong chakra versus a weak chakra. They actually stay on the body longer. I've noticed over 10 years of working with them, sold over 100,000 of these worldwide. So I've worked with a lot of people and got a lot of feedback. And this one, I've actually had people give me pictures on the third eye. But guys, I want to tell you, I don't recommend doing that. So I'm going to tell you the trick of this one is we've got this little, these are truly like kids ones, like where you just wet them and they're made with vegetable-based inks, and we make them here in the US because don't want to use the toxic inks or anywhere. So right here in the US, but you take this off and you sleep with it, Lisa, seriously. I tell people to sleep with it like that, literally. Because the symbol on the skin is what gives them the energy. It was when I got a root chakra tattoo was when energy ran down both my legs. I got a real root chakra tattoo. And that's when everything changed for me. And I was like, I have to turn these into, like, so people don't have to get real ones. I'm going to turn them into playful, beautiful, temporary tattoos. So you can wear it like this. You take it off because it's sticky. The front is sticky, and you're fine to go to work the next morning, and you stick it in a Ziploc bag. Make sure to wash your forehead each night. If you do that, it'll last at least a couple weeks, at least. And you might get more lucid dreams. You might just remember your dreams better. Occasionally I have a few people who actually cannot sleep with this. So if you put it on, I've had a couple people, this is the light chakra, and it actually opens it, and they're awake. So a few people get an awakening effect on this. Too much. And if you do and you want to sleep, you can either put on a bunch of root chakra tattoos, which really help you sleep, or you can take this one off for sure. Okay.
And you can put that in other places on your body.
You absolutely can. I have a girlfriend. She loves it. She wears them on her arm all the time. She likes them on her arm. They won't last as long there usually, Lisa, but she does that. And then the other one, I'm glad you asked this, because a lot of people don't like to go to the FAQ pages, right, of websites. And so people are always asking me, what do I do with this? I was searching for bald guys whenever I first made this one, because I was dying to get some guy that would let me. I still, to this day, if you're watching this and you're bald and you have a really great sense of humor and you love chakras, please send me a picture. Put one on top and send me, like, bow your head down and send me a picture. So this one is where I like to wear it, is what's called the high heart. So literally when you're wearing the tattoos in back, the throat, and always the dot is up, the triangle is down. The throat goes right on the neck, right on the upper shoulders up into the neck, depending on how long your neck is. This one goes right below that, between the heart and the throat. That's my favorite place. There's an energetic portal there that leads into the back of the high heart. And it's really strong. It's really strong. A lot of people say they can really feel that portal. But I will tell you something interesting, Lisa. When I put all the tattoos on now on my back, I've wore them for so long. I don't wear them all the time, but whenever I want a little kick, I put all of them on. And this one doesn't last as long because it knows that's not its spot. Because I have a ton. I'm overactive in the crown. I'm overactive in my upper chakras, all of them.
Yes.
So, but the crown, it doesn't last as long. So I do think it's still better to put it right on the spot where our anatomy resonates, because we have glands in that area. Our biology literally mirrors our energy. People don't always understand this, that the glands and functions of each area of each of these chakras match. The biology matches the chakras and what they're about.
Well, I'm glad that we could talk about it, because I wanted people to understand and know how they worked and what you were showing, because it's a super cool thing. And I've got mine now, and I'm actually think I'm going to use that whenever I'm describing the chakras, because you did such a great job. So this is exactly what we wanted to do, is bring everybody into the basics, so that our future conversations, as we go deeper, they're already going to have a great understanding of this. So I want to thank you so much for this conversation. It's been super fun. I've learned a ton, and I'm hoping everybody else has too.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to do it. And you guys, thank you for being here with me on it, because I get so excited when I talk about this stuff. So I know maybe we saw the colors at least by doing this. And I think I covered most of the elements. I just want to finish a few. We had the air is the element of the heart, easy breezy, the middle, right? The sound is the vibration, and sound is the element. We're saying element now because up here it's not pure elements, but is the element of the throat, and light is the element here. And then once you get up to the crown, you don't have elements. You have just white. You have no color. And some people say, well, it's violet. This is interesting. It's violet where your body, you have a side where your body is, and right at the top of your crown, and then where it goes up into spirit, and it actually it becomes white. So it's like that last color in the rainbow, but then it turns white, because spirit is always represented by white, because white is what? What color is white? It's all the colors. And spirit is all the chakras, all the colors. All of the chakras are in the seventh chakra, in the crown.
Awesome.
So, fun.
Thank you, Vicki. and your website, just if people want to go and hear more and learn more and see your videos, is chakraboosters.com.
Chakraboosters.com. So it's CHAKRA boosters, BOOSTERS.com. And same, if you put Chakra Boosters in YouTube, you'll get all my my videos, and yeah, so
Oh,
it's all out there.
thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for letting me share. You know how much I love this.